Garden Vlogs number 4. Today I'm going to build a light for my plants out of LED strips. They're RGBW individually addressable LED strips, and I'm going to control them with an Arduino. I don't know if it's going to work because the LED strips, I have no idea what the wavelength of the red and blue LEDs are, and I don't know how many lumens they are or what the par rating is or anything like that. But I will have some fun building a DIY LED strip grow light right now. Let's get started. These are the LED strips. I've already soldered on some connections for the Arduino. I happen to be using this Arduino, but you could use any Arduino. And here's the plan. I'm going to take the LED strips, cut them to size, and stick them onto this board. However, they're not going to stick, even though they have a sticky backing, they're not going to stick to this wood, so I'm going to put some tape on the wood. I've dusted off the wood. It looks like I didn't do a very good job, and there's a squished isopod on there. This is scrap wood, by the way, in case you didn't notice. So I'm going to clean that off and get to work. Alright, now this tape is not the tape that I wanted to use. I have a roll of black duct tape that I use for my wires and stuff when I'm out at my events. But I have this. I can't find the black tape, and it looks like it will be very easy to apply. We have plenty of it, so I'm going to apply it liberally. Good enough. Alright, what's the next step? I have no idea because I've never done this before, but I'm guessing get some LED strips. Where's that thing? So, how do I want to do this? I guess I want to leave a little bit of space on the edge to have my wires. Actually, no, I'll just put the wires behind. Alright, so it goes right to the edge. Let's see how it sticks. This one was already stuck to something, this particular LED strip, but I removed it. Alright. That's holding on there pretty nicely. Oh, got a little bend in it there. Alright, so I'm going to cut the LED strip at the end. And paying close direction to the direction of the electrical current, I will lay down the next strip. I'll take care of that later. Alright, so the flow of energy is going from here, down here, and then it'll go back up to the next strip and come down that way and zigzag across. I don't know how close I want to position these together. But since they're pretty weak lights, I believe, the more the merrier. So I'll put them pretty close together. At least that's my theory. I could have problems with overheating. But we'll worry about that later. Most people would have put these on a metal backing, so you can use heat dissipators or water cooling even. But that's not my case. Alright, there's strip number 2. Now I'll spare you and come back when I'm finished this entire board. Two things. One, I accidentally cut that LED strip improperly. There wasn't enough contacts exposed to do the soldering after, so I had to cut it even shorter and then solder one LED of the LED strip on. Second thing is, these are the LED strips I'm using. They're by a company called Jerseo. RGBW LED individually addressable strips. And I have a whole bunch of them because I had a big project with lots of lights. It worked out really well. That's why I have the confidence to do this. And I got these as backup, but the project is going so well. Ooh, what's this one? This one's smaller. Oh, some of them are smaller. Some of them are bigger. Okay, I get it. Alright, anyways. These are the ones I'm using. They were really cheap on Amazon. They were the best price I could find for RGBW LED strips individually. And I highly recommend them. Oh boy! I haven't had that much fun since I got my finger caught in the door. Here we have the LED strips attached to the board, as you can see. I thought I was going to run out of LED strips, and I almost did. So I started spreading them out a little bit further from each other in the middle there. And then got closer and closer together as I realized I was going to have enough LED strips. And I just had enough, like just barely. So next, I'm going to have to solder these all together. Now, how I'm going to do that is, obviously, you get your soldering iron with your wire, soldering iron, roll of wire, and go to town, basically. You're going to attach, the most important thing right here is to make sure that the DIN connector on your LED strips, which is the digital thing, digital in maybe, has that zigzag pattern to it. So it's the pin in the middle on my LED strips. So the pin in the middle on this side is going to bridge over to the pin in the middle on the next strip, follow it down. The pin in the middle on this one is going to attach to the pin in the middle on the next one, follow it back down, and go that way. So your digital pin will go zigzag all the way through, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But your power will not. And the reason is power loss. With an LED strip, basically this is going to be one long LED strip because of the way I'm going to wire it up. Digitally at least. But with the power, you need to come in at intervals. If you don't, you're going to get power loss. Your LED strip might light up for the first few meters, not even, and it'll start doing weird things like displaying the wrong colors or not displaying anything at all, and that's not good. So the digital line will run all the way through, the power will come in at intervals. Alright, so now we're ready to solder the DIN on the first strip, right? We started over that way, and then we're coming up here, and then we're gonna go into this one and back down, and then solder the other end, and then come all the way back up, out the DIN here, into the DIN here, back down, come back up, out the DIN here, and so on and so forth. So I suppose it would help if I got some wire, but before I solder the wires on, I'll just tin my solder there. I'm not the best at this. I'm gonna pre-tin the connectors on the DIN. So let's just get a little glob on there. And another glob on here. Alright, now let me just go get some wires. Alright, so this blue wire, I'm going to cut off a piece about, let's see. I don't want it to be too tight. I think about that long is good. Whoops, about this long. I use my wire strippers here. These are brand new. I haven't used them in a while, or I haven't used them very much, I mean. Which size? I think this is the right size. Yes. Ooh. Keep sticking together. Alright, so I stripped the edges. Let's see if you can see that. Exposed the edges. I'm going to give them a little twist. We'll leave that there and put a little bit of solder on it. Put a little solder on one side. Flip it around. Put a little solder on the other side. Alright. And now let's see if I can do this so you can see what I'm doing. Well, I'm sure you can imagine. I'm just going to attach this soldered wire to the DIN connector. There goes my cable. Alright. I was going to say, if you solder your wire and your connector beforehand and then just attach them, it's a lot easier. And it is, I just didn't let it cool long enough there. Alright, so this side is attached, that's cooled off. Let's go for the other side. This is going to be awkward to do this in front of the camera. So let's just do something like that. Oof, it's warm. It's not the best connection. I'm going to put a little more solder on there. It's probably going to come off when I do this. Yep. Some solder. And I'm sure my hand is in the way, but I really can't do it any other way with the way the camera's set up here. Sorry, I'm not a professional at this yet. Oh, wow, this cable is getting really hot. Go, go, gah! Wow, that was hot. And it looks like a really bad connection. Let me just keep working that. Normally it'd be a lot faster if I wasn't trying to do this for the camera. I think I got it there. Alright, so from one DIN to the next DIN. And I'm going to do this on alternating strips, moving all the way up the board. So there you go. There's the connection. Now I'm going to get to work. I should have used a smaller gauge wire. I might see if I have any. If not, I'll just use this. It'll do the trick. All right, everybody, I have finished soldering the digital connections together. As you can sort of see, let me hold it up here. So that side's a little messy. This side over here. All right, the digital or the DIN is connected in a zigzag formation. Just like I said, starting over here, coming down, connected there, and then back, and then connected there, and then back, so on and so forth. Now I have to worry about power. Alright everybody, I'm back. So I finished doing all the cables here. We have 5 volt, which is the red cables, and ground, which are the black cables. Basically now I'm going to attach all the red cables together and all the black cables together, and then I'll get a power supply and wire it all up for power. It's working. It's been several hours. I had lots of troubleshooting to do, so I'm gonna turn this thing off, go to bed for a bit, and summarize when I wake up. A few moments later, I've finished putting the tape on the board. It's at this point when I should mention that there's a product out there called glue. I probably could have saved myself a few hours. But I did this at a slow pace, just relaxed, watched some YouTube, listen to some YouTube, and I got it done. It didn't even work that good. Some of it's still coming off, but it's better than nothing. And I'm about ready to mount this thing onto a shelf and try to grow some lettuce. Okay, it's been about 2 weeks since I built the light, and the lettuce is absolutely thriving.
These plants were stunted for a few weeks because I didn't have a proper light, but they're really growing well now. I'm going to be putting all my lettuce in grow trays instead of in multiple pots like you see here. I'll post an update on the DIY LED strip grow light lettuce operation in a future video, but for now, I'd call this a success. Thank you for watching and see you next time.